Hello, everybody. My name is Ian Kirkpatrick, and today we're doing a complete quarter one is over review. I guess you could call it. So this year I did something a little bit different. Last year I'm gonna go. So this year I've done something a little bit differently than I did last year, which was playing off of the ideas that I did last year, and that is I had a journal that I only kind of sort of kept up. A daily journal with like daily things that I wanted to do, like writing slash that turned into creating when I switched over to videos, reading. There was exercise. There was and some other daily goals, and then I would leave little notes, and I would have a word count at the top, and I would have the word of the day at the top, and then I would track mood. And so I bought another journal to do that this year, and so that has been a little more sketchy than last year. But I have been writing notes in it and tracking mood mostly and tracking projects. So the way that I added on to that was I also broke this year into quarters, like a business does, and set yearly goals that I wanted to hit or projects that I wanted to work on this year. And so my three main projects that I set to work on this year were Head in the Dust, which was named Dirty Money at the start of this year because I just needed a title, and that was the title I had back in October. Cain and Abel, which is my Jeffrey Dahmer inspired story, and then Where is the Blue Sky, which is another sci-fi novel. And so far, when I was working on what I wanted to do this year, my planner has a month calendar, calendar, and then weekly and then the days broken into weeks. And so I set up goals for what I wanted to have done by those times. With three full novels, I'm like, each of those gets 4 months each to kind of complete. I don't know if that's going to happen. Head in the Dust took, I think, 3 months to do or to complete, and it's at 104,000 words. So that was kind of a feat, and I'm actually very happy and impressed with it. Not that it doesn't need some editing, because that's also going to be worked into this. So Head in the Dust, I finished the draft of it in January, and then once you get to the end, you're kind of like time for a break, something to set your brain apart from the world that you just worked on. And so I took a couple of weeks off because I wanted to get my head into the new space of the Jeffrey Dahmer story, or of Cain and Abel. And I just couldn't do it. After about a week, I just was not moving. And so I was like, maybe I should just jump right back in and start editing Head in the Dust. So I started working on the Dust, and I got maybe a chapter into editing, and I'm like, I don't feel like I'm far enough away from this yet to be able to look at it critically. So I put it down. And so instead of working on any of these projects in the middle of February, I actually came up with an idea for a stage play. And that just smacked me in the head. So that was added to the list of things that I really wanted to do this year. And within a week, I had written the stage play Better Than 80, which is right here. I had a couple other side projects, smaller projects that I also wanted to work on this year, which include a novella called A Fantastic Lie, a short story about a ghost that's looking for a place to be, and so she ends up stopping to stay in a church because she doesn't know where else to go when nobody can see her. I have a story about a short story called New Meat, which that needs to be edited because I changed the tenses in it like 45 million times and the perspectives of it because I was trying to cop a feel on the styling of the story, and I just kept changing it every time I started working on it. So I need to go through and fix that and at least get it into one cohesive, tense and perspective, because it switches between past, present, first, and third, and I just need to pick something for it so I can read it better and then actually edit it. And then I had a screenplay that I wanted to work on that actually I wanted to work on back in January, but for some reason Better Than 80 spawned its ideas faster than The Valley, which is the screenplay that I have that I want to work on. So yeah, that's technically 6 projects, 2 short stories, a screenplay, and then 3 novels that I want to work on. But then also sometime in the middle, I think it was near the end of February last month, when I kind of just got backhanded by a character or a couple of characters that I had back in 2010 when I did more art. And then the art bug got in me because I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to work on these characters. I really want to play with these characters. I love these characters. So so that's been coming back. I really haven't done a whole lot with them yet. I have started drawing again, so that's been a new thing that's come up in quarter one of 2020. And we'll go. Oh, and I'll share some of my new art that I've done since. Yeah, I'm not that great, but I'm hoping to practice and get better. I've been taking some classes, but I need to draw more and continue the classes. So there's that. Oh, I should have aimed to be done with the first run of class, the first module by the end of quarter one. I didn't do that, but we'll set some quarter two goals. So yeah, it's been kind of all over the place. I really haven't worked on Cain and Abel yet, and I really need to buckle down and just start working on it. It's not that I don't want to work on it, it's just that I'm procrastinating now, and I feel like there's so much that I want to do that I'm just choosing to not do anything. And it's also just easier to not work on the writing when you've taken a couple of weeks off of writing, because you're out, like you got that drive to write, but then it's also, you're like, and you have to struggle to get back in the groove. Like when I was working on Head in the Dust, I was compelled to write every day. I didn't know where it was going, and there are definitely some rough patches in it, but I was compelled to write after starting a schedule where I was writing like every day. So I was like, I have to do this and I have to get these words in. And then I fell out of that routine when I was trying to get into the Dust headspace and into the Cain and Abel headspace. And so now I just need to force myself to write until I'm into the Cain and Abel headspace, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. I just get some great imagery and some great character interactions and like some great mood or feelings between some characters, obviously specifically Cain and Abel, because they're going to be some interesting people to play with. Cain is just going to be fun. But so there's that. Oh, and the other thing that I did in this quarter was I got feedback that went through my first novel, Dead End Drive, and I've edited that. I think I need to take a closer look at one chapter, probably, but it's still in better condition than it was at the start of this year, so I'm very grateful to the readers that I had that gave me responses on it. I'm getting ready, hopefully, to submit that. And hopefully by the time you're watching this, I've submitted that and the play to a writing competition. The play Better Than 80 actually went to a local writing group that I go to, and they read it and they gave it feedback. And I'm pretty confident about it. For something that was put together so quickly, but just so efficiently, like it just makes sense. There's an area where I'm kind of like, I'm not sure if I fixed one of their comments that they made with the changes that I made, but I'm pretty sure I did. Pretty sure. For the most part, the responses were very positive. And in case you're wondering what Better Than 80 is, and if you are in a theater group and you're looking for plays to produce, this is all set in one location. It's just in a stage. And I would be happy to send you the script if you would like to read it to consider producing it in your theater. The synopsis reads, 6 strangers wake up in a classroom. Azrael, an angel, stands in front of the classroom and announces they all have died, and this is their final judgment. They have 90 minutes to answer 30 questions. They have no choice but to work together to find the answers of the universe that will give them access to the kingdom of heaven. There is only one alternative if they fail. So it all takes place in a classroom in purgatory. A lot of fun. It's a comedy, speculative comedy, obviously, because it's in heaven, and it has 7 characters, 6 men, 1 woman. If you really wanted to, Justice could probably be female. And yeah, I don't know, it's a lot of fun. Then finally, we've got Head in the Dust, which I've talked about in a couple videos. So then my other major accomplishment so far this year has been completing Head in the Dust, the first draft of it, of course. And it is my sci-fi novel that I've mentioned a couple of times. It features Easton, a cargo driver for independent cargo driver. She just drives her own little cradle, moving stuff back and forth for hire. And she is her main goal is to make enough money that she can buy her own planet and populate it with robots that she creates, because let's face it, robots are the best companionship. So she's in the middle of a job when, well, the universe's most wanted sneaks onto her ship. She finds him stowed away, just kind of a little too late, because once she turns on the radio to hear, the news that's going on in the galaxy, she finds out that she is also now wanted as his accomplice. So she spends the rest of the book trying to get her name cleared, but shenanigans happen, and, well, that never goes really as well and as easy as it should. If you want to give this novel a feeling, it's kind of Trigun and Firefly with a little bit of Borderlands. So there's that. And I don't know. I'm so fond of it right now. It needs some work for sure, but I'm so fond of the interesting directions that it took and just the creativity I got to have with it. I'm just going to be doing like so much more speculative fiction in the future. And I'm really excited to get back to Where is the Blue Sky, because every time I think about it, I'm just like, I love that universe, but I haven't got to work on it yet. And it's a completely different universe than what's in Head in the Dust. So I'll talk more about that once I actually get working on it. Hopefully in the end of quarter 2 update, I'll have Cain and Abel worked on, and hopefully Where's the Blue Sky worked on somewhat somewhere. We'll see. I would like to have all 3 of my main novel works drafted. Technically, Where's the Blue Sky has 160,000 words, but it needs so much work. Like half of the story is missing, and there's just it's crazy. But I'm hoping by the end of quarter 2, all of the books will have a working first draft that I can then spend quarter 3 and 4 editing them to be in the good direction. So that's where I am. Oh, and then speaking of art, I'm not a great artist, so please don't judge me too harshly. I am learning. I can see that I'm learning as I go, especially with with art theory and just breaking stuff down into objects. But I am still learning to make, smooth, cool lines and development of a style as I get better at it. So anyway, let's jump into the characters that just smacked me in the face from 10 years ago. This is Ali Surin, or also known as Necros, and he is a suicidal daredevil who joined a cursed circus because he wanted to die, and then happened to be granted eternal life, and now he can't die. This I did on, it says March 7th. It says 21, but it was this month. This is the contrast to my character, Ali Surin. It's Cameron. His stage name is Grin, and he can't not smile. That's one of his issues, is he is cursed with not being unable to smile. And so they make a really great pair. I love contrasting. I had somebody, a close writing friend of mine, who finished reading, Dead End Drive, and she said, "You're really big into absurdity and contrast, aren't you?" And that pretty much nails down most of my aesthetic, absurdity and contrast. So, you've got the suicidal daredevil and the caring person in the circus that smiles. I think he is I would make him a PR person so that he could talk to people, but I'm not sure how that would work. But I think he does kind of errand work. There he is again. I love the tattoos. Oh, and so forever ago, 10 years ago, when I originally did these, I was taking different members of the circus and giving them Pokemon that kind of matched what I felt was good for their personalities. Ali had a Haunter, of course. And so, but I never got to doing Grin. And so since I've been drawing again, I went and gave him a Pokemon, which is, of course, this little monstrosity here, because they're both a little messed up. And then this is my other character from the Cursed Circus, Tyke. And he was originally 9. He was originally 7. He looks a little older in this, I've been told, so I can see it. And he was a monkey, an organ grinder monkey boy. So he would bring in the crowds when the circus started, and he's kind of like a Pied Piper to get the people into the Cursed Circus to kind of suck away at their soul energy, whatever. But he's just super kind. I think he just got lost. He might have already been an orphan because he's kind of from Eastern Europe area style thing. I think he was Polish. He might have been Polish. I can't remember where exactly, but he had an accent. I think it was Polish. He spoke another language. He just got lost. He kind of got adopted into this thing because, of course, the Cursed Circus will take whatever people want to join so that they can, eat on that delicious soul energy. He's so cute. He just has his little organ grinder, brings people in by the numbers, and he's super, super peppy, super happy, and now considers the ringmaster his papa. It's so cute. Here's another drawing of Ali Sirin, which I did like a week and a half later when I was learning more stuff for writing. So I mean, just look at the contrast in those, and those are only like a week apart from when I drew them. And then here is Grin again. That's less chibi. Oh, and then we're back at the beginning. I didn't pull over a whole bunch of drawings. I just did, my main guys that, hit me hard in that Cursed Circus, and all of a sudden I was just like, oh, who doesn't want a good Cursed Circus trope? Oh, it's so good when it's done really well, and it's fun. And so they are tent mates, and that's really, I haven't fully developed the story yet. I'm working on a welcome back sort of comic where it's sort of filling that gap of, the last 5 or 10, filling the gap since, 2010, 2011, whenever the last time was that I posted about these guys. And if you're interested in seeing where this goes, I have a DeviantArt that I just opened up to, post the new stuff that I'm working on as I work on it. And that will be in the description box down below. It's also findable on my website, and sometimes I post stuff on the Insta. I haven't posted all of these images yet on Deviant because I just haven't. But this is the first page of the Welcome Back comic that I'm working on, and I shouldn't say I've never done a comic. I've done some interesting I used to do some comic collabs, which is kind of like role playing but with comics, and that's where these guys came from. But I haven't really worked on a standalone comic on my own in a very, very long time, and I really haven't drawn a whole lot in a long time. So I'll be working on this a little bit. This is the only page I have so far made for this comic. It's not going to be very long, the Welcome Back pages, but I hope to transfer that into a longer work. I was thinking of doing a novel of these guys, but visual art fits so well for them. So I might try to develop a story in visual art for them to also give me a chance to draw. And so we'll see how that goes. And those are my gains from the first quarter of 2020. I don't feel like it's a lot, while at the same time it feels like a lot. So, oof. You already know what my goals are for this quarter of for quarter 2 of 2020. And just in case I need to reiterate, I'm going to draw more, get some more art up. Hopefully I want to get that, Welcome Back comic done at least. I want to get the first draft of Cain and Abel done, and then I want to start working on Where is the Blue Sky? With any dead airtime or possibly between projects, because I like to kind of cleanse my mind with a shorter project after a longer project, I might work on New Meat, The Fantastic Lie, The Church, or the screenplay. So any of those to kind of be a palate cleanser between things. But my main focuses are on the novel and also just on drawing so that I can get better, because you have to spend so much time doing stuff to become better at it. Anyways, enough about me. How did your first 3 months of 2020 go? What were your goals? Did you accomplish them? What are your goals going into the second quarter of 2020? That's just going to be the next 3 months. So April, May, June. What are you hoping to accomplish? Let me know, and maybe we can, offer some kind of support for one another, try to help each other out, keep each other motivated, do whatever. So let me know what your goals are in the comments down below, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye, and don't die.